Megacolon occurs in many different types of conditions and refers to a colon. Colon, by the way, is the large intestine that we're talking about. And that's the last part of the digestive tract before the anal opening through which you defecate. Megacolon occurs in stool withholding. If you withhold large amounts of stool, that stool is going to stretch out the colon. Now, what importance that has is really undetermined. We don't have studies to look at megacolon before a child gets treated, what happens down the road months or years later, what role does that megacolon play in even adults who might go to the bathroom every 3 or 4 days. There isn't enough information. It's also unclear as to whether that megacolon, that colon that's dilated, that's stretched out, returns to normal shape after a child's been treated and is going to the bathroom on a regular basis. So we really don't know these issues. I think that parents are frequently very frightened by hearing from a pediatrician that the colon is stretched out, it will never work, that the muscles down at the end of the colon in the anal area are all stretched out, they won't work either. I think that what works is a good treatment program where you use appropriate laxatives and behavioral modification so that a child starts to go and is no longer soiling. If the child is having a daily bowel movement without soiling, you really are not going to worry about how big the colon is, whether there's a megacolon or not.
Once the child is trained, potty poopy trained, will the vault, the colon, remodel and go back to?
It's a great question. It comes up on the support groups all the time because what happens is doctors scare the living bejesus out of patients. The rectum is stretched out, he doesn't feel it, the muscles down there are destroyed. We've got to do this, this is an emergency. We've got to get it back to its normal shape. Truth of the matter is, not one piece of data ever to look at any of that. Very, very hard to quantify what is a large rectum versus a normal size rectum. So nobody has a clue. What I can tell you is that when you use the program incorporating an adequate amount of senna, which is a mild natural vegetable laxative, with behavior, that child is going to be going on his own, self-initiating, but may at times withhold because the urge is not sufficient, so he doesn't recognize it. But nobody can tell you what the size of that rectum is 4 years later if you've toilet trained someone, or what the muscles are like or anything else. So I think that it's a disservice to tell patients that the bowel will never function, the muscles will be lax, they'll be too inactive, and what have you. And that's what you hear all the time. So I don't even mention that.